Thank you very much. So, I was honored to be the chair of the Terry Book Award for Best Book in Management this year. And we had over 65 submissions. They were excellent. Just to give you an idea, the major rule, several criteria I'll list in a second, is that it did exclude edited volumes. Up in front of you, you see the 5 finalists, which include a great book by Francesca Gino, Zoltan Ach, Nancy DiTommaso, Mark Misrucci, and Damon Phillips. Something about these books I'll let you know is that we didn't go in and come up with any detailed criteria. We, the committee, which, and I have to thank, by the way, several of the committee members here, Mike Lounsbury, Sarah Kaplan, Wilbur Chung, and Chip Hunter. And we began our work in January, February. And the major criteria you could see up here. But in terms of content, we didn't have any coordinated message or major theme that we were pushing. We looked at really strength of scholarship and impact and importance and contribution to society and management. And I think one of the things that did come about, perhaps coincidentally, is that you'll notice with all these finalists, these books are actually dealing with themes that are very, very relevant today in society, and not just in the workplace or within the firm, but they reach in all these issues out into society, and big public debates such as the future of the economy right now, the future of, or the role of corporations and entrepreneurs in society and their ability to work with different social and political actors, and issues like race, discrimination, earnings, income, growth. They're really fantastic works, really fantastic works. And I will actually now turn to who won. So we have these 5 finalists, and we do have a runner-up, and I'd like you all to give a round of applause for our runner-up is to Nancy DiTommaso and her great book, The American Non-Dilemma. And now our winner, it's almost like the Academy Awards. And this was, all these were pretty unanimous. These decisions were easy to make in terms of Nancy's book and Mark Misrucci's book, The Fracturing of the American Corporate Elite. All right, this way? Yeah, you go. Okay, thank you very much. And now, Mary Van Green.
Good morning. I think these are the Academy Awards, literally and figuratively. It is my distinct pleasure to have chaired the Awards Committee for Career Achievement. That falls in 4 categories: Distinguished Educator, Scholar Practitioner, just getting the order right, Distinguished Service, and Scholarly Contributions to Management. We had a great committee, and I want to acknowledge the role of Chris Marquis, Stella Nacomo, Ann O'Leary Kelly, and Mike Tushman in making these decisions. We had a stellar cast of nominations for these 4 different awards. However, only one person can win in each category. So right now, I will present those winners in each category, telling you a little bit about each of them. The first one is our Distinguished Educator Award, and you can see from the criteria that the domain is fairly broad and comprehensive. I'm pleased to announce that the Distinguished Educator Award goes to MING-JER CHEN this year. Given the power of words is our theme, for each of the winners, I would like to start by just giving a word about them. And for MING-JER CHEN, the Leslie Grayson Professor of Business Administration at the Darden Graduate School, University of Virginia, the word that came to mind was inspiring. MING-JER has many noteworthy accomplishments across the many criteria for the award. But what stood out as truly unique was his work with the Chinese management scholar community and the development of doctoral students and faculty, which have all been described as inspirational. And it's important to note that it was not done as any part of a position requirement, but rather from a gallant motivation to build capacity and help people along the way. MING-JER was described as a dedicated, passionate, and enthusiastic educator. He did this in three broad areas, as a teacher, as a teacher's teacher, and as a founder of a teaching and learning community of scholars. MING-JER is widely regarded as an outstanding teacher. He is simply described as phenomenal. He's been recognized with numerous awards wherever he has taught, including Columbia, Wharton, and Darden, as well as prominent programs in China. What makes him so distinctive is not just his energy and enthusiasm, but his rare ability to be both demanding and kind. And if you've ever been in his company when he teaches or lectures or talks, you know he's one who loves a good joke along the way. We thought MING-JER was a teacher's teacher as well. Many faculty said they owe their success in the classroom to his coaching and counseling at crucial junctures in their careers. And he often takes many people under his broad and expansive wings. He has been a faculty member for numerous Academy of Management consortia, events, faculty development workshops, and in that way he has groomed the next generation of teachers. And finally, MING-JER is a founder of a teaching and learning community that is large and impressive. One of the things that stood out in MING-JER's contributions was his devotion to nurturing the development of young Chinese management scholars over the past decade. While the pursuit of an academic career is challenging for everyone, it is even more so for young Chinese scholars who study or work in a U.S. institution because of the differences in language and culture. This issue has become more prominent as we've welcomed more and more Chinese doctoral students and faculty to U.S. schools. Hundreds have benefited from MING-JER's teaching and learning. One of his nominators wrote this: MING-JER did this with little institutional support because these workshops were not part of the academy meetings. Basically, he had to find the locations, prepare the workshop materials, all at his own expense. In essence, he has done these workshops purely for the development and growth of these young scholars under no institutional obligation or requirement. His deed is truly noble and altruistic. What he receives in return is gratitude and respect from all the people who have benefited from these workshops. So, MING-JER, we thank you for being such a distinguished educator, and we are proud to acknowledge your many contributions with this well-deserved award. MING-JER? There it is. Our second Career Achievement Award goes to John Van MAANEN. John is the Earl Shell Professor of Management and a Professor of Organizational Studies at the MIT Sloan School of Management. In a word, I would say that John is real, maybe even raw at times. For more than 4 decades, he has regaled us with tales of the field that have revealed, informed, delighted, and sometimes shocked us with his insights. And those insights are at once eye-popping to us, but deeply respectful of the practitioners' worlds of work he studies. To wit, the opening sentence of his classic piece, The Asshole, from Policing, A View from the Street in 1978. He writes, "The asshole, creep, big mouth, bastard, animal, mope, rough, jerk-off, clown, scumbag, wise guy, phony, idiot, shithead, bum, fool, or any other number of anatomical, oral, or incestuous terms is part of every policeman's world." Perhaps our own too as academics, but I will leave you to speculate. John speaks the language of those he studies. He talks like a policeman, he becomes a policeman, he ultimately is a policeman. He is the astute ethnographer. He is a scholar practitioner who, in his own words, studies groups of people the old-fashioned way by living with them. His contributions are staggering. He delves deeply into the worlds his practitioners occupy, and those worlds are many and varied. Gloucester fishermen, Disney ride operators, U.S. patrol officers, London detectives and their supervisors. With publications of the last 4 decades and more, John has a long and illustrious history of contribution, and especially in opening up the conversation with other management researchers about qualitative methods and field research. He continues with vigor today, continuing to actively mentor numerous scholars, serve on many editorial boards, and taking on a new journal, Qualitative Research on Organizations and Management. Bob Sutton nicely summed up John's impact with these words. John had a huge impact on my generation of organizational researchers because when we first started graduate school, qualitative methods were generally treated as unscientific, obsolete, and so biased as to be enticing, but not anything that should ever be published in a top academic journal. Due in large part to John's example in leadership, by the time many of us had graduated with our PhDs, there were many corners where qualitative studies had become acceptable and encouraged. Beyond academia, John's insights have also proven to be attractive to and influential for practitioners. Through his teaching in MIT's Sloan Fellows Program, John has convinced hundreds of students of the benefits of qualitative approaches. Moreover, in work that he labels a contract researcher, John has not only been able to continue examining new fields, but has also set a precedent for many other field researchers to follow his lead. Bottom line, when one thinks about organizational ethnography, it is John's name and contributions that come to mind. So John, we thank you for being such a distinguished scholar practitioner and are proud to recognize your many contributions with this well-deserved award. Thank you, John. Congratulations. We got a post.
Okay. Now, how do we do this? Now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Our next Career Achievement Award is for Distinguished Service, and I'm very pleased to announce that the award will go to Irene Duhame. Irene, yay Irene, go. You go, girl. Irene is the Senior Associate Dean and Professor of Managerial Sciences at the Robinson College of Business at Georgia State University. In a word, I think Irene is tireless. When we reviewed her nominations, we recognized how Irene has given exceptional service to our profession, and we found her leadership to be both strong and humble. One person commented, "The term institutional builder fits well for Dr. Duhame. She has shaped many of the institutions we now take for granted, the BPS division, the Academy itself, Academy of Management Journals, and doctoral consortia. She is truly someone who has been of service to her profession." Irene's commitment is unparalleled, and this little trivia point is stunning to me. This is the 36th, that's 3/6, consecutive Academy of Management meetings she has attended. She has not missed a meeting since 1978. If we were giving out an attendance award, surely it would go to Irene too. But all that time when she did attend the Academy, she's been very actively involved in building and shaping the institutions throughout her career. I'll highlight two of those. One is the Academy of Management itself and the universities at which she has served as a faculty member. At the Academy, she has exerted significant leadership in the development of the Business Policy and Strategy Division, enabling it to thrive. She was elected to the leadership of the division in 1990. Many individuals, after serving in the 5-year officer rotation, nicely retire, but not Irene. Since leaving the position, she has continued to serve BPS as a member of numerous division committees and influenced the dissemination of cutting-edge research through her extensive service to Academy journals. Where perhaps Irene's influence has been most keenly felt is behind the scenes. She has done much to shape the development of doctoral education and junior faculty. She is both a generous and generative leader. Most importantly, she has helped ensure the future of the Academy itself through the development of the next generation of Academy leaders. At the universities at which she has served through her exemplary career, initially at the University of Illinois, later at Memphis, and now at Georgia State, she has served not only her faculty roles with distinction, but took on a number of significant administrative roles that have helped to fortify and change those institutions. She has served on committees too numerous to mention and in leadership positions in the Office of the Dean. Finally, we think her most consequential contributions are seen in the way she has helped build the vitality of the Academy. One of her nominators wrote, "It is her dedication to and enthusiasm for the Academy that makes her one of the association's greatest promoters and draws in a new generation of leaders." Irene is incredibly welcoming and developmental. She actively encourages doctoral students and new scholars to become engaged with the Academy. This person wrote, "I can honestly say that my own involvement with the Academy as an active member, presenter, division leader, and AMJ and AMR editorial board members are all the direct result of Irene's encouragement and her enthusiasm for the Academy." So Irene, we thank you for your distinguished service, and we are proud to recognize your many contributions with this well-deserved award. Thank you, Irene. And finally, the fourth Career Achievement Award is for scholarly contributions to management. You can see that the criteria are very broad and extensive and recognizes someone who has truly changed the scholarly field. I'm pleased to announce that this year, the Distinguished Award for Scholarly Contributions to Management goes to Max BAZERMAN, who apparently has his own cheering section. Max is the Jesse Isidore Strauss Professor of Business Administration at the Harvard Business School and the co-director of the Center for Public Leadership at the Harvard Kennedy School. In a word, Max is a pioneer. In reviewing his nomination, it was pretty obvious that Max has made significant and continuing contributions to understanding foundational processes that are essential to effective management and to running organizations. These include decision-making, judgment, negotiation, and more recently, ethics. The impact of his work has been felt not only in our field of management, but more broadly in the social sciences. As one of his nominators put it so succinctly, Max's vita is heavy. He has published papers in almost every journal you can think of. A committee member put his illustrious career in perspective by saying, "I'm not sure it's necessary to say anything other than he's BAZERMAN to justify a scholarly contribution award for this man. His work has touched many, many areas of social science. The world thinks differently because of his research and his ability to share it so masterfully." BAZERMAN and Moore's 2013 textbook on judgment and managerial decision-making, now in its 8th edition, is a useful roadmap to Max's scholarly achievements. The book opens with several chapters addressing judgmental heuristics and illustrate many of his foundational ideas on overplacement, on insensitivity to base rate data, on change blindness, and on joint versus separate preference reversals. Perhaps this research alone would have qualified Max for the Distinguished Scholarly Contribution to Management Award, but nowhere is it as impactful as the work he has done on negotiations. Max changed the face of how negotiation is studied and taught, essentially by viewing the negotiations process through a decision-making lens. This is best represented by his book with his former student, Maggie Neal, Negotiating Reality, which is now in its 18th printing. Maggie wrote, "Prior to Max's influence, and he was relentless, negotiations were often not part of our curricular or research agendas. Max changed this irrevocably. Personally, I found myself caught in a tidal wave of increased attention. I could not have been luckier. Now negotiation scholars are in the mainstream, and our courses have become an essential part of many, many business students' educations, all due, at least in part, to Max's initiative and leading voice." This relentlessness that his colleagues observed 2 decades ago persists today. His career is unbroken in its trajectory. He's been active and vigorous in his many years of contribution. And in fact, some thought the best was yet to come with his more recent work in behavioral ethics. As one person put it, in sum, Max is a brilliant, path-breaking, prolific researcher who exemplifies the ideal combination of theoretical and empirical skills that he uses in both the academic and public arena. He is the epitome of a concerned scholar who has dedicated himself to making the world a better place through hard-headed, pragmatic research. He is a perfect role model for young scholars, and he has taken on that role repeatedly, wholeheartedly, passionately, and successfully. Max, we thank you for your distinguished scholarly contributions to management and are very proud to recognize you with this well-deserved award.